Hello, Andrew. Andrew Baker. Welcome to Passos del Camino, a project about the Camino Santiago to the Camino Santiago. And it's such a pleasure for me to have you here talking to me about the Camino. That is something that uh, we both liked. And thank you so much for doing this with me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure and it's a great honor to always discuss the Camino with my fellow pilgrims.
Okay, let's start with the challenge, okay? I will put recording two songs and you have just to connect them to the Camino. Okay,
Okay.
first one. Uh, uh,
Okay. I believe
okay.
this is Alanis Morissette.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
And
I think it's thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And the next one.
Is that a Coldplay?
Cowboy. Every...
Is this from the soundtrack of The Way?
Exactly. They are both. They are both exactly. I said it was easy. Mostly for Americans, but yeah, they are from the soundtrack of the way.
I
Thank
wish you could count exactly how many pilgrims have walked the Camino de Santiago just because of the movie The Way.
Mostly of the Americans, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay, there are some. I met some that they met from other pilgrims that made acquaintances, and all the other fellow pilgrims told them about the Camino. But without knowing, but I can imagine when 60% of the American pilgrims because of the movie. And even there on America, I guess the movie was not so seen. It's not a very known movie. As
Yes.
okay, but
Yeah, it was released, I think, only to streaming services.
yes,
It was never in the theaters, I believe. And I saw it probably years after it was released.
it's my favorite movie. I watched it the first time. Okay, I'm suspected, but but okay. I watched it the first time in 2016, and the movie is
Okay.
from 2010. But it's my favorite movie from the then I watched it like 20 times. I there are some of the lines I know exactly by the way, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Unfortunately, I until now I wasn't able to walk the French Camino, but I have five Caminos. I walked the Portuguese Camino three times, the Primitivo, and the Camino the Winter Camino, the Camino Invierno last year. Let's start it. Can you tell us what was your motivation to walk the Camino Santiago?
The great question pilgrims ask each other when they meet right away. I feel like the first thing you say is you immediately say Buen Camino
Yeah,
because you may not know where someone's from, but Buen Camino is universal.
yeah.
Um, and then you immediately go, so why are you walking the Camino? For me, I walked the Camino Frances in 2019, and I walked it because as the when the nuns in Carrion de los Condes they asked me why I was walking Camino, I said it's because I have a broken heart. Um, I was engaged prior to then, and then we had a separation. And for the first time in my life, I think I experienced some depression,
Yeah.
some severe anger, some sadness, and um, like like a lot of the magic that happens on the Camino. When I was thousands and thousands of miles away here in the United States, I went to bed one night and actually I went to sleep and I hadn't thought about the Camino in years. And I had a dream of walking the Camino de Santiago. Um, and in my job, I knew I couldn't take the time off to go on Camino to take 6 weeks, 5 weeks off. And so I woke up in the morning and I had my coffee and I thought about seriously walking the Camino de Santiago. By 11 a.m. that morning, I had quit my job. I put in a 4 week notice, and then I told my boss I'm resigning in 4 weeks. By 11 a.m. I bought my ticket to Bayonne in France,
Yeah.
the Bayonne Biarritz airport,
Yeah.
and I decided in 4 weeks I'm going on Camino.
That's
And
amazing.
so that's how I ended up walking across Spain by
You may
myself.
not, you may not know this, but before the Camino, I quit my job too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm envious of Europeans because you can take a quick,
Yeah.
2 weeks and walk a section of the Camino. For Americans, for Australians, for people from Asia, it's a little more of a commitment of time,
Yeah.
just because it's more expensive to get to Europe, and unfortunately in America, it's frowned upon to take more than 2 weeks off vacation at a time. So you have to do something drastic like quitting a job, or maybe you're in between jobs, to take 40 days off, 30 days off.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice. And why the Camino? Okay, you over there, you have the Appalachian trails. You can go on a different trip to Hawaii or whatever to think. But why you choose the Camino?
Mm.
Why?
Well, to be honest, it came to me in a dream. So I can't explain that. I'm serious, as crazy as it sounds, and I'm not.
No, believe me, you are not
Yeah,
the first person to tell me that.
yeah. It came to me. But looking back on it, the to walk one of the big American trails like the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, which are incredible walks, they're a massive commitment of time. You spend sometimes 5 to 6 months walking.
Yeah,
The Appalachian Trail is twice as long as the Via Francigena.
yeah,
So that's one issue, but I think I needed something spiritually was calling to me. And at that point in my life, I feel like I was very spiritually dormant. Um, and I was sad and angry. And I think maybe walking into these 1,000-year-old churches and sitting in the pews, was something that I needed. I needed to not think so much about what I was carrying and my gear. I think I needed to think more about um, how I was healing, what I needed to heal. And to be honest, I learned that it wasn't so much um, that I could do it on my own, but I needed the strength and the words and the wisdoms of the other pilgrims I met to really help that process.
that's amazing. That's amazing. So, what was your first impression arriving in San Juan and start on the stage like the Pyrenees? Uh,
Well, I so like most Americans, they say, what is someone who speaks three languages? And you say in English, trilingual. What is someone who speaks two languages? They're bilingual. What's someone who speaks one language? They're American. So I landed in France, and immediately I'm thinking, I don't speak French. How am I going to get to Saint Jean? Like, am I even saying this town right? And so there was a lovely lady at the airport who pointed to the bus station to take the bus from the airport to Bayonne, and then to get to the train station. And I'll never forget trying to read these maps in French, and I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And it was this combination of absolute fear, tied with adventure. And I'll never forget sitting at that bus station waiting for the bus to come pick me up to take me to Bayonne, thinking, okay, you know what, this is real. Like, I'm capable of doing this. And later on, sitting at the train station, I ended up meeting pilgrims that I would walk into Santiago de Compostela with. And I think at the train station to get to going to St. Jean, I realized, you know what? Even if I'm going to walk alone at times, I'll never be truly alone on the Camino.
Yeah.
Like I already have this family, and that helped kind of subside the fear that was in me.
Do you know? A few hours ago, I was speaking to Michel Lassard. Lassard, it's an American pilgrim from Arizona. Exactly, don't know where, but from Arizona, and it is. I met her because I have a friend in common with her. That is Lee Brennan. Lee Brennan has a podcast over there, mainly on YouTube. It's called Camino Cafe, and we are friends. We'll help each other. She 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 tells me, "Oh, do you know what this pilgrim may he may be interested in talking to you?" And I do the same. So it's like a two-way exchange. And I was talking to Michelle, and he told me, uh, we are setting a date for our talk too. And she was told me, "Oh, do you know, I am proud, and I like to do this because I want to know that for mainly for the American pilgrims, that they don't have to be afraid of walking the Camino, have to be on a foreign country alone. You don't have to be afraid um, because people are there for receiving you to with open arms. Do you know? Uh, okay, in Spain and in France, maybe different because okay, they don't have in comparison. Compare it to the Portuguese. They don't speak very often English. Um but even Spanish, it's easy to catch some phrases that they can help you to go on the Camino. And even if you cannot speak yourself with someone that cannot speak themselves too, there are pilgrims there that can speak English all the way, and you can ask them. So it's easier for you to have any problems without the Camino. And on the Portuguese Camino, it's because I'm volunteer there, and mostly of the American people that I met on the albergue where I'm volunteer at, they told me, okay, I already have walked the Camino, the French Camino, and other Caminos, but in Portugal there are something different because most of the people that we encounter that they speak English. And okay, I'm talking about the Portuguese Camino, but in other Caminos, on the North Camino, on the Camino del Norte, there are also a lot of people that they can talk English. So for many doubts that an American pilgrim may have, don't be afraid. Just walk it.
Absolutely. And safety can often be a concern for people walking alone. And I can say this: I've may have felt safer walking on the Camino as far as the way I handled my belongings than anywhere else in the world. I certainly feel safer walking the streets of Burgos and Leon and Pamplona than I do even all the cities in America. So for those Americans who have those concerns, um, feel confident that you'll be in good hands.
That's nice. So, hard question. Let me just tell me. So, imagine you could go back and turn back time, and you could go back to live your best moments on a Camino. Which moment you choose?
If I could go back and relive the moments, um, there's kind of one common moment that happened over and over again, and I feel like it was maybe 8 o'clock at these tables in the albergues, the restaurants, where everybody's already eaten and we're sitting around drinking wine, drinking beer, and you would have these big tables of maybe 10, 11, 12 people sitting around from 5 to 6 different nations, just having conversation, laughing, joking, dancing, singing.
Yeah,
If I could have those moments back, if I could relive those with my Camino family, I think that's definitely the moment. Um, and that's not to say there weren't hundreds, if not thousands, of
yeah,
other incredible moments. But I think that's the thing I long for the most.
yeah.
I long to have their companionship um, in a country like America, even though it's vast and we have a huge population. It's difficult for us to hear uh, the way other people live, um, to hear their perspectives, because the lifestyle of someone living in Belgium or Portugal
Yeah.
is going to be much different than someone living here in Texas. And so I loved hearing this confluence of ideas, thoughts, opinions, and uh, the beautiful thing is, no matter how different we were, we all had so much in common, and we were all brothers and sisters on the Camino. And that's something I truly have. That and cheap good wine.
Yeah.
That's
on that on that
that's
on that I have like amazing story um with American pilgrims too. So in 2018 I was walking the Portuguese Camino for the first time. And okay, in a town called Pontevedra, I was alone. I always start alone, but it's because I can speak some language. It's easy for me to make friendship. So but in that moment I was alone, and in that town, okay, here in Portugal, you have we have a thing in common with you. We like to dinner very early.
mhm.
Okay, it's not like in Spain. It's very early. So it was 7 p.m. and I was searching for a place to have my dinner. In Pontevedra, it's a big town, and I was searching, and at that time I couldn't find any place with the kitchen open. I walk around like half an hour looking for it. So I decided to enter this small bar. I was in this. It was really small, like four tables. Inside, there's two more outside, and I talked. There was like the owner and his daughter, and nothing more. Um, and I talked to the guy. Oh, but I just opened the kitchen at 8:30 p.m. Oh, but can you do me a quick thing or a quick meal or something? Okay, I can do it. So the guy done it, some meat with some chips. I don't know. I can't remember what it is. So I was eating that outside, drinking a beer, and suddenly behind me appears me like three girls looking out very serious for me and looking out for my food. What are you doing? So for from the clothes, I may notice that they were pure. So they were two girls from California, one from Seattle, and then later we encountered two more from Ottawa on Canada. But they were friends. They were friends, and they are so that first time they were free. Kirsten, Maureen, and Lori. Um, and so we start talking. They wanted to eat too. They wanted to have dinner. So I was used like a mean of translation. So I introduced them and they ate at the same. So we shared the dinner, and it was amazing. After the dinner, we went to a brewery, like in front of to have some more beers, and we decided to walk together. So the next days, it was more 4 days and 3 days arriving to Santiago. We walked together. In the last day before reaching Santiago, uh, we stay in a place called Padron. It's like 25 kilometers before Santiago. And it was on a Sunday. In on the Sunday, there's a big market there in that town. Big market with food, clothes, all things of those sort of things people can sell. In that day, there's we already the other two girls have already joined us, so we were six person there walking, and in that moment, the lorry, it was the first one arriving in the market, and she arrived, sit down, and asked for a beer. Then I arrived, sit down, ask for a beer. It's more or less at noon, more or less.
Mhm.
Then the other girls were coming and asking for a beer. So do you know that they in Spain, if you ask for a beer, they put something for you to eat something
Hmm.
small. And that time was some veal meat with chicken peas.
Okay.
Okay, I don't like chicken peas, but I like the veal meat. Um, and we're drinking beers, asking that, but just do you know? There's one of these girls, this girl from Canada. I have like these t-shirts like from the Portuguese Camino with all the towns where the Camino passes, and he asked me for the shirts, and so I offered the shirts to her, and we were laughing, and I noticed that like in front of me there was like this auto caravan um making roasted chicken. It was one of my favorite foods. Uh, and I was and I was just feeling that I want that roasted chicken. I want that roasted chicken. Uh, and I just I talked to the girl that are besides me, and do you know I feel that I want that so much. And she tells me, go buy it. We eat it. We eat all each other. We can eat it. Go buy it. Okay, but how? But we don't have any plates. We don't have any forks or knives. Go buy it. Don't worry. My friend Kirsten, she has some forks and some knives here. Go. So I went. I bought the chicken. There was a chicken, but this girl didn't found the knives or the forks. So I put the chicken on these very small plates where the chicken piece and the chicken outside. But we can't find anything to uh, how to eat the roasted chicken. So we had to eat it by our bare hands. And for me it was like a shock, do you know, because I have like this bad idea or wrong idea that mostly of the American pilgrims or the people in America, they are like very fancy. They don't eat anything with their bare hands. So, but this idea is made from the news that passes here. You know, the ideas or the ideas or the news or the movies. We have like this fancy idea of you. You know, and in that moment it was like really a shock for me to experience that. But they say so we are normal girls, we eat sometimes with our hands, it's normal. But and for me this was amazing, you know.
Yeah, I feel like the type of Americans that go on Camino are typically the ones who don't mind eating with their hands or being dirty and smelly. Um, that that is something every country is going to have a very diverse group of people,
Yeah.
but I feel like the Camino attracts a more humble or
Let me
a
just
more
I have a picture of that
practical
moment.
person.
Let me just see what it's they are the three of them, they are here. Three of
Okay.
them, they are here, always drinking beer. It was something unbelievable.
Yeah.
Always drinking beer. Another time drinking beer.
There you go.
There we are in Santiago all together.
Yeah, I remember that fountain.
Yeah, it's Praça de Praterias.
Hmm.
Where I have the picture. Let me just where I am, what it is. Let me just search it. I have it somehow here. It was a bad picture of me. It's here. Okay, it's here. No, this one. Now is here. Here's that moment.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
They're just amazing.
There's those Estrella Iglesias. I miss
Yeah,
them so much.
me too. Me too. And I'm in like 100 kilometers from the border.
I know. Yeah.
So it was really special for me this moment, you know. It's just amazing, just amazing. So let's go on. Um, any our what was like in arriving in Santiago for you?
Oh, that was a powerful day. I had walked 53 kilometers that day. I walked from
Yeah.
Malid to Santiago de
Yes, I know. I know.
Compostela.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was very spontaneous. Me and my friend Maddie, who's from Slovenia, we were walking, and it was maybe 30 minutes after we were walking. We decided or he asked me, he's like, "Do you want to just walk to Santiago today?" And I kind of looked at him. I was like, "Oh, okay, why not?" And so we ended up going 53 kilometers that day, and it was the longest I had walked in one day. And that day was um, a complete storm of emotions, just a complete from highs to lows. It ended up raining on me. It rains almost every day in Galicia, it feels
Yeah.
like. And I didn't have my rain jacket on it. And so I was walking through a neighborhood and I saw this family had their garage open. And so I ran to the garage. I was like, por favor, let me put my jacket on. And they're like, okay, it's okay. So I stayed in their garage and I put my jacket on and I covered my backpack to keep walking. And they were very nice. They offered me um, a some water or and that was a very sweet moment. But I had a lot of mixed feelings of kind of sadness and joy. And for the first time on the Camino, when I was in the big park outside of the city, I got a little lost because I wanted to walk over to the statues of the
Yeah.
pilgrims
Yeah. I
looking.
know. I know. Me too. I felt the same.
Yeah, it started raining on me there, and I got lost and I couldn't find the path back. And for the first time, I started feeling sorry for myself. Um, and I ended up finding it my way back. And I remember there's a highway you kind of cross to get into the city. And at that point, I started crying. And there was a woman who was waiting to cross the road when I was walking across it, and I kind of looked at her, and she looked at me, and she gave me one of those like one of those very sad
Oh.
looks exactly. And there were people, it was maybe 7:30, 7 o'clock at night when I was walking, and people were, buen camino, like you're keep going. And I will never forget walking into the city, the old part of the city, with the tears coming down my face. And when I got into the plaza, and I was by myself all this time, uh, seeing three friends of mine there. My friend Maddie, who's from Slovenia, another Italian friend named Matteo, and then actually two more friends, Luca and Vir, who Luca lives in Barcelona, and Vir, he's a Buddhist monk from Taiwan. And they came down and greeted us, and we all just, celebrated. We did it, and kind of all cried and hugged. And another one of those moments, there's always talk of Camino angels.
Yeah.
As you know, if you get into Santiago late at night, it's hard to find a bed.
Yeah.
It's hard to find somewhere to sleep, especially during the summer. And Veer had rented a hotel room really close, a really nice hotel room. And so I'm like, there may not be a bed. We may have to walk 7 kilometers back out of the city to find a bed. And Veer said, no, 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 no. So he invited us up to his hotel room, and he slept on the floor
Oh my
and
god.
allowed me and Maddie to sleep in the bed. And that act of kindness, I'll
Yeah.
never forget. It's There's just so many magical moments. I'll never forget walking through those eucalyptus trees that day and feeling the rain on my face. Um, my legs were so tired that day. I was kind of limping the last 5 6 kilometers, completely just throwing my legs in front of each other, pulling myself with my trekking poles. Um, but I'll never forget that almost triumphant feeling of walking into the plaza, um, and just feeling that cold air. It was cloudy, it was overcast, and hugging my Camino brothers.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget it.
That's amazing. Any future plans to go back?
You know, last year I had plans. I took some time off in May, and I was going to go to London, and me and my Camino family we were going to have a reunion, but that was canceled with the pandemic. And now there's been some discussion with our Camino family to go walk the Portuguese way, to walk from Porto to Santiago de Compostela. Um, that's probably the most likely plan to happen next. I definitely want to walk the Camino at least 4 more times, 4 more times in my life. I've I've decided if I have children, when they graduate school, I want to walk with them. Um, on my 50th birthday, I'm only 34, but on my
Yeah,
50th birthday, I want to walk the Camino again, and then I'll walk it one more time after that.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
So
Believe me, the Portuguese Camino, it's different. Okay, it's different. It's not the French Camino, but I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I'm Portuguese,
I mean,
but
that's exactly what I want. I want a different experience because I'm almost afraid to unfairly compare my second, third, fourth, fifth
yeah,
Caminos
yeah.
against my first. And so by it being completely different, it makes me happy. It's a new adventure.
But you like it. There are beautiful places there. Believe me.
Yeah.
So, what were the feelings that accompanied you while walking the Camino?
Well, when I got back, when I finished the Camino, it took me a long time to be able to form my thoughts, my feelings into words. And I was able to then d- come down like I feel like I had three great lessons that I learned on the Camino. Um, and they were all relevant to the state of mind I was in at the time. But the first one was there was a great lesson or feeling of acceptance that came over me. And it first hit me on the day when I was walking down from the Alto del Perdon
Yeah,
after Pamplona.
yeah.
And it's a hard walk. There's big rocks and it's a very steep decline. And at that point, my knees were hurting. My knees and my feet were hurting so bad, and I was having a hard time walking. And I was kind of complaining to myself. I was like, "Why are your feet hurting so much? You've done everything. You have good shoes. You have good socks. Why are they hurting so much?" And then all of a sudden, it just hit me. It was you're on a pilgrimage. You're meant to hurt. It's meant to be hard. You're meant to suffer on a pilgrimage. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It wouldn't be um, this journey where you encounter pain and adversity. Uh, so once that hit me, I felt just so at peace. And then that lesson kind of repeated itself. I'll never forget. I think I was walking into Leon, and there's a portion where you're along a highway, and you know how pilgrims, they don't like to walk next to big highways. They would always prefer to walk in some trail in the forest or on the mountains, but they never like walking on the busy roads. And I thought to myself, again, this is, the Camino is much older than these roads. It's much older than cars, than the highways. It's only natural that they would build the roads where the pilgrims would walk. And so I just accepted it as just a part of the journey. You're meant to walk it through the mountains, over rivers, over streams, through the woods. You're meant to walk along highways. And the more I accepted things, the more at peace I felt. Um, so you could say that was the first lesson of that I learned on the Camino. The second was, without a doubt, I absolutely believe I can do anything. And there was one moment that instilled this in me. There was a moment outside of Castro Harriz. It's the day you walk up that real big hill. There's a giant hill outside of Castro Harriz, and people always love to get to the top of it and take that picture of the long, winding road through sunflower fields. Um, but that day I was just it was kind of hot, and I just remember looking at that hill and I was like, oh, that's not going to be very fun to walk up. But for some reason, when I got to the bottom of the hill, I started walking as fast as I could, like flying up the top of it, just as fast as I could walk. And even when I got to the top, there were some people on bicycles riding up there, and I got behind them and I was helping them push the bicycles up to the top. That ended up being something I would always do. Is I would always help pilgrims on bicycles push their bicycles up. And when I got to the top, I remember I put my arms up in the air, and my friend Chris, who's from Liverpool, he took a picture of me, but just arms up in the air, like I was like, I did it. I was like, I thought it was going to be so difficult, but I did it, and I feel so much better. And I realized nothing can slow me down, nothing can stop me while on the Camino, and the Camino kind of taught me that. And then the last one, without a doubt, is you gain a lot of clarity on what's important on the Camino. I think one of the things that made me my previous relationship end, what made it so hard is I allowed other things like work, like my hobbies, get in front of my relationship. And I realized, at that moment, I felt like those things didn't matter. When I was on Camino, I didn't think about work. Um, I didn't think about volleyball. I play volleyball. I didn't think about some of my friends. I thought about my relationship, and I thought about being on the Camino. So a sense of clarity. So I would say a sense of acceptance, a sense of clarity, and just a sense of perseverance that you can do anything.
That's
Those
amazing.
were kind of the three things that were instilled in me.
For you, what is the best thing about the Camino?
Oh, the best thing. It's hard because I feel like if you went on a long walk like the Camino, that would be a great vacation. If you went and saw all the sights you see on the Camino, like if you drove in a car to Burgos, to Astorga, Leon, Pamplona, if you saw Santiago de Compostela, if you saw all these things, that'd be a great vacation. If you met the people um, that you meet on Camino, it'd be an incredible trip. Um, I think though the thing that sticks with me most, the thing I miss the most about the Camino is I miss the people. I miss my Camino family so much,
That's
and
amazing.
they're completely 100% my family. If I was to get married tomorrow, they would all be at my wedding. Um, Absolutely love them, and they are what made my Camino so special.
Espetacular, espetacular. That's amazing. Uh, I also have friends from all over the world, and some of them are really, really special. So I understand you exactly how you said it. So, well, you almost answered that question, but what do you think of sharing the Camino with your Camino family for people from all over the world?
Um, well, I mean, the 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 thing about, I feel like your Camino family, or when you build your Camino family, is everybody is in such a vulnerable, honest state of mind. The sense of humanity you experience on the Camino is unlike anywhere else in the world, in my opinion. Everybody's so thoughtful, so caring. Yet I feel like there's moments in our lives where we kind of need someone to give us a little kick, to kick us in the butt, to say quit complaining, and to laugh with. And I, I think that's what made my Camino so special. Like there's there are people who are very gentle and tender, and they were the people you could always rely on to give you a big hug. But then there was those who you could count on to drink too much beer or wine every night, and they would make you laugh. Um, and I think that's what made them so special, so incredibly valuable, and definitely the most important part of my Camino.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, Andrew, you're almost finishing here, but one last question for you.
Yes.
So, what can you tell you to someone who never walked the Camino?
Well, if you have any interest, don't let your fear dictate you. Just go. Take the first step. Channel your inner adventurer. And then I will say this, um, for the rest of your life, once you walk the Camino, you will forever identify as a pilgrim. You'll identify as a peregrino. You will own that as a badge of honor, and you'll be able to share that distinction with any other pilgrim you meet. And regardless of your economic, your ethnic background, you'll instantly have something incredibly powerful in common. And it will absolutely transform you. And I think the best way possible. It's one of the few things in the world that I feel like can soften your heart, but yet make you so much stronger. And yeah, start walking. That's the best thing I could say is get to walking.
That's amazing. So Andrew, you're already finishing here. Thank you so much for doing this with me. It was amazing. Believe me, I like it so much. Thank you, thank you. I want you to know that you have a friend in me. Anything you need, please ask me. If you want information of the Portuguese Camino, if you have the opportunity to walk it sometime, please let me know. I'll be glad to receiving you and your Camino family here, and pay you some beers. Will be amazing. Thank you so much.
Definitely, I will take you up on that because when I walk the Portuguese way, I want to come visit you, and I'm going to be like, where are Estrella Galicias? Where are they? Where's the Vino Verde?